the METS, meet the METS. Step right up and greet the METS. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the METS are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS METS of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the METS. Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the METS. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball, put the METS of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the METS, meet the METS. Step right up and greet the METS. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the METS are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS METS of New York town, of New York town. Meet the METS, meet the METS. Step right up and greet the METS. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the METS are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS METS of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the METS. Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the METS. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball, put the METS of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the METS, meet the METS. Step right up and greet the METS. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the METS are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS METS of New York town, of New York town. Meet the METS, meet the METS. Step right up and greet the METS. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the METS are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS METS of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the METS. Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the METS. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball. Come on and meet the Mets. Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really stopping the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town, of New York town. Meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets!
What is up? What is up, Mets fans? Good start to the day, huh? Again, of course, another day, another Mets move or some type of report that makes me have to halt what I was currently doing. But as always, how's everybody doing, guys? Happy to have all you here. We're in for a fun one today. This is going to be a fun live stream. Was playing a live stream earlier, but it looks like it will be starting now because of what I just broke regarding Zack Scott. How's everybody doing? What is up, guys? What's up? What it do? What is up, everybody? Hello, hello. What's up, guys? Some big news. Some unexpected news, if you ask me. What is up, everybody? Yo, what is up, James? What's up, Chris? What's up, Vince? What is up, guys? How's it going? Chris, what's up? Matthew, means moves coming soon. I think so. I think that's gonna hold true. This is very surprising, if you ask me. I know that we talked about here on the stream just recently, guys, that when would a GM be in place for the Mets next? And it looks like, in my opinion, I did not think it was happening anytime soon. I really didn't. I thought that they were kind of go with an unofficial GM and Sandy Alderson and Zack Scott be groomed in that way, but they already make it official here, which in my mind is pretty telling that stuff is going to happen very soon. But Leo, what's up? Yes, you did make it this time. What's up? What's up, Chris? What is up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? What's up, Mets fans? You know the drill by now. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Help us get to 100 likes for the first short-term goal here. We got plenty to talk about regarding Scott. I'm going to pull this up too, just for anyone that doesn't know that it's been made official here. You see right here in the corner, hopefully, Zack Scott was made official. As soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, I guess we're streaming now. That's what's happening, right? Yo, what is up, Joey? How's it going? Hi, Manny, what's up? What is up, guys? Martino said that they have a trade in place for Mats if they get Bauer. I'm well aware, Matthew. I'm well aware. But thank you for putting me on. Yeah, no, it seems like that's inevitable, right? Do you think this has planned for a while, or has he been made himself needed? I think this has been planned for a little bit, guys. Remember, Zack Scott was the runner-up for Jared Porter, guys. This was nothing new. Jared Porter literally just outbested Zack Scott between the two, but Scott was literally right below him. He had high accolades. Everyone spoke glowingly of him. Who is Zack Scott? Well, he's currently the assistant GM. I believe he was the senior advisor for the Mets currently, and now he's moved into the official GM role with Jared Porter's departure after being fired, as we know. Zack Scott spent his time over the past, 15 years now, roughly, with the Red Sox, working his way up with Jared Porter and Theo Epstein. And when Theo Epstein and Jared Porter left to go to the Cubs originally, and then Jared Porter eventually went as an assistant to the Diamondbacks after, but Theo stayed in the Cubs, Zack Scott stayed put and worked his way up farther, and the Red Sox organization was a crucial part to their success. Won many World Series with them, same thing as that Porter did as well, and Epstein helping them. But he's an analytics guru. Zack Scott is the guy. This is great for them. I've been in love with Zack Scott from the time that they hired him. I know everything about him. He has great accolades, and I think he's going to fit smoothly. I think it is not going to really change much of anything now that Jared Porter is gone. I think Zack Scott is going to do just as well, if not better. So really, really happy about this guy. Zack Scott is a gem for the Mets, and I'm going to answer all your questions. Don't worry, because then we have to figure out, all right, what is next for the Mets, right? Because if they're doing this GM hiring, when Sandy Alderson didn't indicate whatsoever, he honestly made us all think that GM was not going to be in place anytime soon. That, or maybe they want an official GM in there that can maybe help them with negotiations to an extent, knowing that they have that type of agreement in place, at least for the free agents that they're going after, or possibly players in the free agent market, trade market, through negotiation process. But what's up, Sonny? What is up, everybody? Again, I apologize if I missed some of your comments here. I'm just trying to catch up to everyone. Again, this is literally breaking news. And Christopher, thank you so much for the sub, especially from a Yanks fan. I really do appreciate that, buddy. That's very kind of you. Yankees over here too. If the Mets get Arenado and Bauer, sheesh. I know. I mean, look, I don't know if they would get both. They have to land one first, right? But I know they do have a lot of options right now. But yeah, what is up, guys? How's it going, Mets fans? How you feeling? You like this hire? You like Zack Scott? I know I do. Again, I think this is a great fit for the Mets. I did not expect this to happen this soon. I said that Zack Scott would come in as the Mets GM. You guys can quote me on that from previous streams. I just didn't know the timetable. I didn't think it was going to be happening this soon. I'm very surprised by this. Exactly. I was very surprised by this too, guys. Very surprised, but very happy to have all you lovely Mets and baseball fans here as always. Thank you so much, Yankees 2021, for the sub. I appreciate that, especially coming from another Yanks fan. You know, that's a little surprising. So I do appreciate, though, no less. Respect to you. Wait, so you said next stream Mod Squad, so I'll give you chocolate milk. All right, let's not get down that route just yet, Matthew. Let me settle in a little bit. Let's actually have some conversations before we get to that point, right? Do you think the move is a prerequisite for huge deals? I think that this move is more of an indication than ever that the Mets are bound to be making moves now. This very well could have been the case where the Mets needed to really feel that they had Zack Scott and officially make the move. Like, look at what they did with Jared Porter just in that short time. They were able to get that Lindor trade done. Could they have probably had it happen with when they had Alderson in as the unofficial GM? Possibly, but you know, it's still something that we don't know for certain. Thank you so much again for the sub, Vince. I know I'm very happy to have you here as always. What happened to Cespedes? He's a free agent. He's gonzo. He's out of here. It's out of here, as Gary Cohen would say best. But what is up, guys? How we doing? Please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. As always, if you're a dire Mets fan like me, if you're pumped about the news for Zack Scott, I want to know your thoughts about Zack Scott as well. If you have some type of unfamiliarity with him, please feel free to ask, because I do have a pretty decent knowledge on him. And yeah, no, it's a really good move. Cespedes got hurt constantly, and he's no longer with the Mets. That's all that matters. You know, it's water under the bridge. Do you think Zack is a better photographer than Jared? Ralph, I really hope not. I really hope not. You're a Nationals fan, Florida Gators. Ooh, not sure why you're here, but I commend you being here, no less. What's up, Michael? What is up? What is up, everybody? How we feeling? How we feeling? Again, you guys like this? I really do. Again, one more time for the people in the back that are just chiming into today's stream right now. Zack Scott is a perfect pickup. Jeff Passan said that Bauer's expected to sign in the next 10 days. I mean, I could have figured that out myself, James. I have a feeling that Bauer might sign before February. At least I hope so. For sure they vetted him, and that's why this decision took a long time. I mean, it didn't even take that long, though. This really didn't take long at all. I didn't expect this to happen. Oh, you know, Anthony, thank you again for being here, buddy. Hope you're doing well. And did the Yanks sign O'Day? Yes, they did. Phillies better sign Didi. I mean, Phillies can sign Didi. It ain't gonna, you know, good. All to them. That ain't changing my mind. Okay. Glad we have a real GM now. I agree. I'm very happy about this. Guys. So what is Zack Scott's position supposed to do again? GM Gabriel, he's the official general manager for the Mets. So he has the ultimate say in decision making between signing players, trading for players, negotiating contracts, all that good stuff. He is the man that the Mets go through. You know, he's obviously going to be groomed and still work with Sandy Alderson and all of his team. But, you know, Zack Scott holds the cards now for all the main decisions the Mets make. Sandy Alderson will still definitely have a big say, but Zack Scott has a heavy focal point more than ever now in making decisions happen. Do you think Chris Bryant to Mets has any legs? I do. I think the Mets are still trying to acquire third baseman. And I do think that over the next couple of days, we're going to find out some news. Maybe we'll even find out some stuff today. Maybe that was an indication why the Zack Scott hire was made official today. I'm not sure, but I do know that this is a great sign. And yes, Jonathan, Zack Scott is great. Zack Scott was right behind Jared Porter in the running for the GM job. So it was actually kind of interesting that the Mets were able to bring him in as the assistant GM and I believe senior advisor, if my memory is not mistaken, this offseason right behind Jared. When he was a runner-up, he didn't even get the job for the main GM. So to have him come in, the guy's an analytics guru. He has a great background during his time with the Red Sox. Literally was the driving force in their analytical upbringing is why the Red Sox have had some great runs. Zack Scott has a tremendous resume. Numerous World Series on his caliber. Same thing was with Jared Porter, Theo Epstein, for example. But yeah, no, this is perfect for the Mets. There was no one that I wanted more than the Mets to have as GM than Zack Scott. So I'm really glad that they stayed in-house and just went with their second best option after Jared Porter in their eyes. And hopefully it's going to be their first best sooner rather than later. All the cards are in place indeed. Again, I love this, guys. Get the dude that said trade DeGrom. How dare I didn't even see it. Honestly. How organization did Zack Scott work for before coming to the Mets? He was with the Red Sox beforehand for over a decade. And he worked his way up from originally being an intern, same thing with Jared Porter, all the way up. But he stayed there. He did not depart with them during the time that Jared Porter and Theo Epstein originally did the Cubs. And he worked his way up to being the quote-unquote analytical guru for the Red Sox, building one of the best analytics groups in all of baseball, especially for a bigger market team. He's phenomenal. He checks off all the boxes for the Mets. That's why this is huge, and that's why this is probably an indication that the Mets are going to be making moves fairly soon now that they have an official GM back in place. Again, surprising me. I did not expect it, but it's a pleasant surprise. Is Zack Scott aggressive? Time will tell, Victor. Time will tell. He's never been in a GM role before, so now we're going to find out exactly what kind of GM he is. How aggressive is he? I think he's going to do a great job. I really do. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Mets make a signing or a trade within the next 48 hours to really kickstart his official start as the GM. Oh, DJ Joe for sure. What is up, my man? Guys, shout out to him right here. I'm going to pin him, guys. If you guys don't know, if you haven't checked out last night's stream or today's video earlier, please make sure you do. And I'll show it again. But I have to pin this message right here. Joe, thank you again so much for the jersey, guys. Joe, shout out to Joe. Joe is the one who sent that amazing jersey to me that I showed you guys on last night's live stream and in today's video earlier regarding the Brewers trade. So make sure to check that out if you're interested. But guys, again, this jersey, for the people in the back that did not see this, Joe was so unbelievably kind to send this masterpiece of a jersey that is, yes, you're looking at it correctly. It is, in fact, a Mookie Wilson and Bill Buckner combination jersey. Dual autograph right here. It is legit and it is amazing. I cannot wait to frame this puppy real soon. It is such a beautiful jersey. So again, shout out to Joe so much. Put hype in the chat for Joe, my man. It literally, like, I'm still at a loss for words. I cannot begin to tell you. When I opened that thing and read your letter, I was like, oh my God. I simply couldn't believe it. Look at how amazing this is, guys. I think all of us Mets and baseball fans can appreciate this. Like, just take a moment, guys. And thank you all so much for being here again, guys. It does mean a lot. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe button as always. But again, Joe outdid himself here. This is just beyond words at this point. Beyond words. There's nothing else I can say. It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you again, Joe, so much. Thank you so much, my friend. Totally amazing. And RR23, thank you so much for the kind words, my man. LFGM, indeed, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And again, yeah, no, thank you all so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. But we're going to get back into the conversations now here, guys. So, congrats on 3K. Thank you so much, Edward. I really appreciate that, my man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, guys, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. This was great news to start the day, if you ask me. I was already feeling great with, everything that's been going on with the channels in general lately and that, but this news made my day. It honestly did. I'm so happy. I'm so unbelievably happy, honestly, that the Mets have Zack Scott in as the official GM. He was by far my first pick outside when Porter was done. It's like, all right, it has to be Zack Scott. He has to be the next man up because he was the runner-up to begin with. Do you think the Braves should trade for Arenado? Hell to the no. Hell to the no. The last thing I want to do is see the Braves trade for any significant player as a Mets fan. Kane Hater would require what Mets pieces? Great jersey. Thank you so much, Brendan. And I would suggest checking out my video if you haven't seen it already, because that's where I really did a deep dive on it. But it would take a decent haul, especially because of Hater in there. Yeah, no, thank you again, Joe. I really appreciate that, my friend. Thank you kindly. Mookie would be in the bag. So what about Cespedes? What are we talking about now? He just posted a video earlier today about that. Yep. Background check on Zack Scott. Okay, just for the people that don't know Zack Scott. Okay, was Zack Scott a higher choice than Porter originally? I don't necessarily think he was a higher choice originally, just because the Mets chose Jared Porter over Scott. But I will tell you this, that Zack Scott was the runner-up right behind Jared Porter to become GM for the Mets. And it's kind of ironic considering they are close. They have a good friendship as it is, because they work together, move themselves up into the MLB as interns originally with the Red Sox. And then again, for the people in the back that don't know, Zack Scott originally started out with the Red Sox, but he stayed there throughout his entire career up until this offseason when the Mets hired him as assistant GM. He worked himself up from being an intern to really being the analytics guru for the Red Sox, and he's done a tremendous job with that organization. I expect him to do the same thing with the Mets. I thought the O'Day deal was fine for the Yankees. Low risk situation. Can't go wrong there. Mets really doing the background check on Scott? Why wouldn't they? Of course they're going to double check. Dominic, what's up, buddy? Happy to have you here as always. Is this the same live show from 12 noon? I'm not sure what you mean, Dom. This is a live show because of a breaking news that just happened that Zack Scott has been made officially the new GM for the Mets, from originally being assistant GM. So that's why we're live, and we're going to break down that and also basically what is happening with them going forward. But as always, guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, especially if you're new to the channel. It means a lot. Help us go to 100 likes, guys, for the first short-term goal here in the live stream, and we're going to get rolling, guys. Okay. I even do not. This dude changes his name to calling me a troll. I didn't even see him. If I see it again, Matthew, I'll get rid of him. Don't worry. And he gone, just like that. That easy. Rory, can you convince me that a Bauer sign would be a good idea? I will gladly convince you that a Bauer sign would be a good idea. All right, Nick. Here we go. Okay. Here are the positives to Bauer if he lands with the Mets, guys. Bauer, you're hoping that you're not giving up too much for him, but realistically, you're not signing him to a long-term deal. It doesn't seem like the Mets are going down that route. It would be shorter term. 2, if the Mets get Trevor Bauer, you automatically have one of, if not the best rotation in all baseball. It's basically between them and the Padres at that point, and I feel pretty confident saying that I would pick the Mets rotation over the Padres, as good as they both are, but DeGrom would be the X factor there. 3, why would it also be such a good fit for the Mets? Because you're getting a guy in the prime of his career that, yes, I know that there is some worries about his inconsistencies in the past, but he wants to win. Say what you will about his personality, but I think he's still going to do great for the Mets, and it would just be a perfect situation all around. And in regards to the contract extensions, there's a lot of people out there that are worried. It's like, how can the Mets go after Trevor Bauer when they're going to hit the luxury tax threshold? Well, it is clear as day that if the Mets do in fact land Trevor Bauer, they're, one, not going to be done with their moves for the offseason because they need to address other holes in the lineup. They're trying to compete. They're trying to be World Series contenders as soon as this season. And 2, they will more than likely go over that threshold of $210 million, and they will be comfortable doing so. The Mets are not going to make moves. The Mets are not going to sign Trevor Bauer without the belief that they will be able to lock up Conforto, Lindor, and hopefully Thor all out, maybe not easily, but will be able to get it done. This regime is not stupid. They are not idiotic. It's the same thing with Lindor. They did not trade for Francisco Lindor as a rental. They trade for him to lock him up basically for the next decade, more than likely. And I assume that would be a very similar situation with acquiring Bauer, upwards of a 3-year deal, and you're still going to have money to work with. And look, the Mets regime has more money to work with than what the eye will tell you, especially. Don't forget how much money that Steve Cohen has that he will be willing to part ways with. No, they're not going to act like drunken sailors, but they are going to make the right moves, and they're going to do all they can to address this team year in and year out to what they seem is best fit and that they can realistically do. And we don't exactly know the number that is their cutoff line, but it doesn't look like it is a specific number, and that is why it's telling that Bauer to the Mets would not be an end-all situation. I only see benefit from it. Yankees still better than the Mets with Trevor? I disagree, Michael. I respectfully disagree. The Mets have a far better rotation than the Yankees at that point. The Yanks do have a deeper bench, though. But the Yanks need to stay healthy. That's the issue with them every single year. John, thank you so much. And apparently, according to Jeff Passan, over the next 10 days, we'll hear about in regards to Bauer. I think it's going to be sooner. I have a feeling it's going to happen either right before February or on February 1st. A gut feeling, but what does my gut feeling mean? Absolutely nothing, because I had a gut feeling about Springer in hand, and look what happened. So I feel like Bauer is waiting until the last minute, hoping the Angels swoop in with a better offer. Really hope they focus more on trades. I know you haven't been in favor of the Bauer situation, Alb, but again, time will tell. I'm not going to sit here and necessarily assume in that aspect. They have their reasonings, so we'll see what happens in regards to Bauer. Again, I'm not against it. Brian, what is up, buddy? Happy to have you here. Okay, I feel better. Thank you for that. No problem, Nick. I hope that I cleared the air at least a little bit here, because again, if the Mets land Bauer, the last thing that we should be as Mets fans is, be disgruntled about it. All you want to do is see him thrive. So be optimistic and hope that great things will happen. That's all you can do. If things don't go as planned, okay, then that's where the fair criticism goes in. But only time will tell if that is a reality. Would you like if the Mets went after Starling Marte from the Marlins? No, I wouldn't, Mark. I think that's a ship that sailed. I think that's a route the Mets were considering, obviously, when Brody was still GM the past year and a half, but I don't think it's a route that they would go down now. Hey, Brandon, what's up, buddy? I've not heard any rumors today, but I'm convinced now that something is brewing. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of telling, right, that Zack Scott coming in could very well be an indication that the Mets do make something happen soon. I feel pretty, why would they be so adamant to get Zack Scott in as the official GM right now if they weren't more than likely going to have more moves coming fairly soon, right? Because they can make moves without Zack Scott as GM, but if you're bringing him in as GM, you probably want to bring that security, that confidence that, hey, we are trying to get stuff done, and I know that maybe the player that we're going after, per se, wants to know who's going to be the GM and when. They want that type of security. Same thing in trade avenues and negotiations. It might be more difficult to do negotiations when you don't have an official GM in place, I would imagine. So I'm sure those were all factors that went into the situation. And as always, Mets fans, thank you all so much for being here. I'm going to continue answering your questions. The Mets made Zack Scott their official GM, and I'm in love with it. Absolutely no issue with this whatsoever. I predicted this to happen. I'm just very surprised that it happened as soon as it did, and it feels pretty telling that things are going to happen. But as always, guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. Help us get to 100 likes, guys, for our first short-term goal here in the stream. It would really mean a lot. Okay. Do you post updates on Twitter too? To an extent, Colby, but I do my deep discussions obviously here on YouTube. I'll share my initial reaction to things on Twitter though. I'll do that. Do you know when they will be deciding on the DH? I don't, Mitchell. As of right now, it doesn't look like a DH is happening this year in the NL, which is an absolute joke. I don't want it to bring me down, honestly. Okay, here we go. Hey, Wardy, big fan. Any way you can convince me why David Quinn should not be fired? Numerous reasons. This team is in a full rebuild still. There are only a handful of games in the season. I know things haven't looked great, but you can't pin Quinn for just a couple games in the season that he is deserving of the boot. If the Mets, if the Rangers continue to have a really poor year, and a lot of it went into his constant line changes and things of that nature, then you have a consideration. But again, Quinn is not deserving of being fired, regardless of how frustrated we might be right now. We can't let our emotions get over the rationale behind the situation. They're only, 5-6 games into the season. It would be foolish for the Rangers to even consider such a thing at this point in time. Chances Bauer signs with each team, in my opinion: Mets 40, Angels 30, Dodgers 20, Blue Jays 10. I'm curious that you have the Mets higher than everyone else. I like the optimism, though. Trevor, I would love to see Bauer versus Cole in a Subway. And I have a feeling Bauer would too. I'm glad you brought that up, Gabriel. Wouldn't that be a great thing to see, guys? Just take that into account. For Subway Series, Bauer matchup against Cole. These two do not like each other, as we know. Bauer's been calling out Cole for literally his entire career, going back to their time, I believe, when they were in high school or college. This is nothing new. There's been a rivalry there for years now. I would love for that to, really spark more in that type of Subway Series. But what is up, guys? How we feeling? How we feeling? You like the Zack Scott news? Again, make sure to let me know. Okay. Let's see. October Subway Series. Yes, that's a dream. Okay. Look at Puma's recent tweet about Rosario. I hate that for him. Oh, I'll check it out in a minute. Okay. Any update on Bauer? Not as of right now, but you'd have to imagine that this gets the Mets closer to finding out a decision on both Bauer and other moves this offseason now that Zack Scott is officially in as GM, guys. Love it for them. Absolutely love it. Rosario might be getting traded again? No way. You're joking. I mean, that actually isn't all that surprising. But, like, really? Is that true? Mike Puma says, and I quote, I wouldn't be surprised if former Mets shortstop Amador Rosario is traded again this offseason. Teams are showing interest in him, and Cleveland received another shortstop, Andres Jimenez, obviously in that trade. Interesting. That would be interesting. I wonder where Rosie would go if he got traded again. That would be kind of bizarre. Okay. What if we had the Mets and the Yankees in the World Series? I'd be all for it. There's nothing better than that rivalry. You got to understand, the Mets are not able to take, I believe, someone from Boston for at least a year and a half because of the Scott situation. They're literally, I believe, after acquiring Scott, they're on a limit. They have to wait at least a year or so before trying to get someone else from the Red Sox organization, and that's not a joke. They should have named Omar Minaya as GM. I'm not against, Manaya's back in a different role, though, so I'm happy to have him back. Hey, I'm a big fan of your channel. Thank you so much, Ted. I really appreciate that, buddy. Happy to have you here. I'm glad with Zack Scott. Yanks just signed. I did see O'Day. Yep. Yeah, no, I mean, look, the Mets didn't get him for a reason. For all we know, he was never on the radar either. Who's Zack Scott? Just got on. Zack Scott was previously the assistant GM for the Mets, and I believe the senior advisor or senior VP. I'm getting them confused right now. But he was the analytics guru for the past decade plus with the Red Sox, worked his way up with Jared Porter and Theo Epstein in Boston. But unlike Jared Porter and Epstein, he never left Boston. He stayed, worked himself up from an intern into being the analytical mindset that was the Red Sox and helping them build a great analytics group there, and was tremendous in doing so. And he's going to bring a lot to the Mets as GM. Love this. And he was the runner-up for the GM as it was previously when he came in as the assistant. Oh, Mauricio, thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate that, my man. Let's go Mets indeed. He looks really, really young. Zack Scott is young. Zack Scott is very young. I believe Zack Scott, to my knowledge, is in his late 30s, early 40s. And I'll look up his actual age in a second. Yeah, no, Zack Scott's very young. Vinny, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm very happy about Zack Scott too. Do you think the Mets will try and trade for Jose Ramirez from the Indians? I mean, I would love Ramirez as a third base option, but there's been nothing to indicate that that is a possibility right now. The Mets have showed interest in other third base options that we know, reportedly at least. Ramirez has not been one of them to date. Would Cleveland maybe like to do another deal with the Mets? Possibly, but I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine right now. There's no further reports to indicate that the Mets are in on Ramirez. If anything, we probably wouldn't find out until after the fact of something happening. If there are fans, would you go to a Mets-Yankees Subway Series game? Absolutely, absolutely. I've been to one in my life already. Back in, I think it was, I'm trying to think, 2015? I think it was 2014 or 2015. Back when Matt Harvey was still the Dark Knight, and he pitched to Jim. But then the Mets lost by like 1 run. I think it was like 2-1 or something, because Carlos Beltran, when he was still on the Yanks, hit a bomb like in the, I think it was what, the 7th or the 8th? Are you a Juan Soto fan? I mean, I respect the hell out of him. He's an amazing player. Do I like him personally? No, because he's on the Nats. Let's get a Go Islanders for a $5 dono. I can't do that, Joe. I'll stick with the amazing jersey you got me. That's more than enough. That's funny. I've never been to a Subway Series. I know it's an amazing experience. Amazing experience. But what is up, guys? How we feeling? As always, if you're new to the channel and you're a dire Mets fan like me, make sure to smash that like and subscribe on. As always, help us get to 150 likes for our next short-term goal in here. It would really mean a lot, guys. Again, so happy to have all you lovely Mets fans and baseball fans as always. What do you like if the Mets went after Nolan and Charlie? No, I would like if the Mets went after Blackman, pardon me. I would like if the Mets went after Arenado, not Blackman. There's literally no reason for the Mets to go after Charlie Blackman. He's a corner outfielder in the right. The Mets do not need that because they have Conforto there. He's 34 years of age. It just, no. Charlie Blackman literally makes little to no sense at this point in time for the Mets. They need a center fielder, not a 34-year-old corner outfielder and Charlie Blackman. Acting GM, does this mean it's temporary? No, I think it's official right now. It didn't say that he was temporary GM. I think maybe it's not solidified that he's guaranteed necessarily after this year, but I would assume that Zack Scott, as long as things go well, he's going to continue to be the normal GM for the Mets. Suarez versus Brian, depending on cost. Brian costs less since Suarez has 3 years and Brian has 1. I mean, that's true to an extent, but it seems like the Cubs are still asking for a decent amount for Brian. Again, though, if Brian's the cheaper option assets-wise, then I would say, okay, go for Brian. But at the same time, Suarez on 3 years, that's a really good contract that way he's currently on. That could benefit the Mets a lot versus having to lock in Bryant long-term for probably a 7 to 9 year contract once he is a UFA a year from now. Are they bringing back the black jerseys? Yes, I fully believe that they are bringing back the black jerseys. Pete Alonso has already shown sneak peeks of his black Nikes. So what's a team the Mets should worry about in the long run? I want to say Dodgers, Atlanta, and San Diego. I mean, you're not wrong with everything you just said, Gabriel, basically. I mean, the teams you should always have to worry. I mean, Padres are definitely going to be a team to continue to worry about. Same thing with the Dodgers. Atlanta, of course, that's nothing new. I mean, just within the division itself, the Nationals can still be an issue. Even as they get a little bit older, they still have a great young core there that they very well, once they free up some salary over the next couple of years, could add in some bigger names. I mean, to an extent, I mean, I'm a fan of them. They're my team in the AL that I've chosen, but the White Sox could very well be a team to worry about going down the road. Just talking about, leading up to a World Series type thing, but, you basically hit the nail on the head. Would I rather trade for Suarez or Bryant? I basically answered that, Ray. Does it make more sense to have JBJ, Suarez, Gray instead of only Bauer? Well, here's the thing. The Mets would not be getting Bauer and then stopping the rest of the offseason. Let's make that clear. If the Mets do get Bauer, they're still going to make more things happen. They will go over the luxury tax. I don't think that is their stopping point whatsoever. Because if they land Bauer, they're basically doing that already. So I don't think that it's an option of, is it going to be JBJ, Suarez, and Gray, or just Bauer? I think it's going to be possibly Bauer, still maybe JBJ, and other moves. But in regards to this right here, what would I choose between the two? Obviously, you would pick the 3 over the 1 if you're getting JBJ, Suarez, and Gray over just Bauer. But realistically, the Mets are not cornered where, they're like, hey, we're doing nothing else this offseason after if they were in a situation to sign Bauer. They would still make more moves, I would imagine. What's the change in heart? Sandy said no GM this year. I have a feeling that change of heart could very well be in hand with their negotiation process for players right now. You've been at 10 Mets games and I've never seen them win. Talk about bad luck, James. I'm so sorry. The upside, however, is that hopefully next time you go to a Mets game, they'll win because they'll be probably the best team on paper that you've ever seen. Sean, that's a great question. Could have him move to second base maybe, or probably trade for a big piece. I didn't see that, what the initial comment was. Or you should do a stream where people call in on Discord with their opinions and you react to them. Yeah, I know that's something that I would definitely like to do eventually. I have a lot of stuff in mind in place for here on the channel in regards to a lot of different things. So that is on my list. Don't worry. Once things get in more groove of things as we continue to grow here on Wardy NYM, that's something that I do want to come to fruition. I think that'd be a lot of fun. MLB Joey, thank you so much. You're so kind. Oh, and you're saying subscribe to Hum Baby Baseball. Yes, yes, of course. Hum Baby Baseball is the man. Love Eric. He's a great guy. Do you think with Scott they will go harder after JBJ with his ties with the Red Sox? I mean, possibly, but he's not going. I mean, that could be a selling point for JBJ to an extent, but I have a feeling that that has already been a connection there with their pursuit of JBJ as it is. Okay, what on earth is going on, Wardy? Why does this GM move now? I think that this move happened for the Mets now to bring in Zack Scott, who is the runner-up for the longest time, because that they are going to be making moves very soon. And the easiest way to make moves is to know that you have a GM solidified. It might be a lot more difficult to make negotiations happen, especially when you have an unofficial GM in place. It might not be as good of a selling point for Trevor Bauer among some other free agents and trying to draw them into Queens when you still don't have an official GM in place, right? They want that security, not surprising me, just as a hypothetical in my mind. And same thing with the trade avenue. We're negotiating with other teams. It only makes things easier if you have official GM in place. How do you feel about Josh Hader's trade market? I saw a report yesterday saying the Brewers are asking for a ludicrous return. I know they are asking high, and rightfully so. But just because they're asking high doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to give up like the entire farm for him. And that went in hand with the video I did earlier today on the channel, which you guys got to make sure to check out if you haven't already. What's going on, Wardy? What is up, Big Pom? How's it going? Any news on Kane and Hader talks with the Mets? Nothing further than what I showed you guys in my video earlier today. But of course, if anything does come up, I will make sure to let you guys know. Oh, Isaiah, that's awesome. Happy to have you here, buddy. I really do. But yeah, no, that's awesome. Thank you all so much for the subs. That's meant a lot, guys. We're trying to get to 4,000 subs. Hopefully, we can get there sooner than later because this channel has been amazing. I've been loving every second of it with interacting with you guys. Is Zack Scott good? Yes, Zack Scott is the man. He is awesome. He's awesome. He's perfect for them. Beatty and Mauricio are untouchable for me. That's fair, Luke. That's fair. I think between those two, though, it wouldn't be out of the realm possibility to suggest Mauricio could go as part of another blockbuster deal if the Mets are in fact locking up Lindor long term, which we know they are. And if you don't have room for Mauricio, what are you going to do with him? So that would be the only reasoning as to why I could see him dealt. Wardy, why are you against signing Trevor? Joshua, I never said I'm against signing Trevor. I've been advocating for him, my friend. Sandy wanted no part of the GM job. Of course he doesn't. He doesn't want that whole load. I mean, he's going to help out, but Sandy's at a point in his life and in his career where, you know, he doesn't want to be the main guy in that aspect. Sandy's only probably going to be with the Mets, I would assume, for a couple years, and then he'll step down and retire. I don't know what his timeline is, but I know it's not for a long term. He's here to have a good time, not a long time. Yes, Andrew, what's up, buddy? What's up? Another live stream indeed, because we have some breaking news, as you can see. How the Mets' losses last year was because of Bats, Walker, and Purcell. Well, of course, the rotation was horrendous. We know this. Can I talk Josh Hader's market? All right, I'll expand a little bit further on it, but I do want you guys to check out my video that I just posted earlier today on Hader and Kane because I don't want to give up too much. But what I will say on his market is that it seems that there are still very much teams interested in him. I would have to imagine that the Mets very well could make a run for him at the right price. It will take a good haul to get him, but you might be able to be in a better situation with Kane, and that's why I discussed both of them together. So, again, I don't know exactly how much, if any, pursuit the Mets currently have in Hader, but you'd have to imagine that he's on their radar to some extent, at least, because he's been on the past, and the Mets would love a dominant lefty in that pen, and Hader's the top dog in that retrospect. What is the projected record for the Mets with the current lineup? I would say between 85 and 88 wins, I think is a respectable idea with their current lineup. Someone mentioned on Twitter that the Dodgers might offer $250 million to Bauer. All right, I'll check it out. Have you heard what JBJ is asking for? I heard the rumor that was around $12 million a year. I'm not sure exactly how accurate that is, however. But what's up, guys? Please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. As always, if you're new to the channel, you're a dire Mets fan like me, really mean a lot, guys. Help us get to 200 likes here in the stream and ultimately to 4,000 subscribers. I know that isn't happening overnight, but the more the merrier in regards to all you lovely Mets fans. I love interacting with you guys so much, and we're doing great things here on the channel. So it would mean a lot for me for you to be a part of it if you're interested. Great stream, but can you do something about the fan in the background? All right, Park, just give me like a minute or two. Again, the reason why I have the fan running is because I get very hot, obviously, when I'm doing these live streams for upwards of 2 hours. So give me like a minute or two, and then I'll turn it off for you, okay? Any sleeper picks for center field if they don't sign JBJ? DeShields is solid. I think Kevin Pillar is a sleeper pick for sure, of ones that maybe people don't necessarily know about or hasn't been reported. Kevin Pillar, I think, is a possibility. Kane, I think, is a sleeper as well that we talked about on the channel earlier today. What is going on right now? I'm not liking how unpredictable Mets have been since Porter's firing. I thought Sandy said he was going to be a GM. No, Sandy never said he was going to be the GM. They were in place. Sandy didn't say when a GM was going to be in place. This came as a surprise for it to happen soon, but don't be alarmed, Connor. Trust me, this is a good thing with Zack Scott and as GM. It only brings more certainty with the Mets and their offseason moves. What jersey am I wearing, Christopher? It's actually like a Syndergaard shirtsy. That's what it is. I'll show you guys the back of it in a little bit. What third baseman do you want the New York Mets to go after? I would definitely take Chapman over Devers, and it's not even a discussion, but to suggest that Chapman's coming to the Mets is pretty foolish. You know, he's the face of the franchise for the A's. Yo, what is up, Edgar from Spain? So happy to have you here. Thank you kindly for being here, buddy. I say only one's untouchable are Alvarez, Allen, PCA, and that's that. Mauricio has not performed with the bat. I mean, granted, I'm not putting too much stock in Mauricio, how his bat currently is, but I will agree with you that I think out of all the Mets' top prospects, if there's one that realistically I could see dealt in the right situation, it would be Mauricio, given Lindor in place. Do we really need Bauer? No, Don. The Mets do not need Bauer. They want Bauer because they know it will take their rotation over the top from going to, you know, being playoff contenders to really pushing for World Series aspirations. It's not a slap in the face to DeGrom if he's getting paid more AAV. Guys, can we be real here for a second? For everyone that's still worrying about this, I just want to put everyone on. In regards to the DeGrom situation and maybe not getting paid as much as Bauer if the Mets sign him. One, DeGrom did not sign the extension with the Mets to be the highest paid pitcher in baseball, let alone the highest paid player. He's a team guy. We know this. And all DeGrom wants to do at this point in his career is, one, continue to be dominant. Obviously, that's a given. But two, win. He wants to win. He's in the prime of his career. He's playing the best baseball of his career. If you bring Trevor Bauer in this rotation, it gets you closer to that winning caliber. So if Trevor Bauer comes in the Mets, I can assure you Jacob deGrom will not be upset. Granted, I don't know what goes on in his head, so I can't bet on it. But I will tell you this, it wouldn't make sense for deGrom to be upset with only acquiring a player that's going to make your team immediately better here and maybe for the next year or two, depending on how long the term is. Bauer makes this Mets rotation arguably the best in all of baseball. That's a fact. Love the Lindor jersey. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, buddy. You know, I love it too. Exactly. Bauer will, and DeGrom will get his payday eventually, maybe. But again, he wants to win. We know this. And I'm sure he's ecstatic with what the Mets have done this offseason. I think that they can find Peterson some starts even when Syndergaard is back. I think so too. It wouldn't surprise me in that case, assuming that Peterson's in the rotation, that they could balance between Peterson and Thor. Thor being unlimited innings to start on that Peterson, you know, going in after, say, 3 innings of Thor, for instance. No, I would not want to give up Mauricio and Beatty plus Mats for the Twins for Byron Buxton. That's 2 top prospects. That's too much. Giving up the farm for Buxton at that point. I love Byron Buxton, but you know, that is something that even I can't really love the idea of. What are your feelings on that Padres versus Dodgers? I mean, it's fun. I'm really excited for it. I'm really happy. I mean, it's not fun, obviously, to see a team in the NL get a lot better, but the Padres, you know, they've been mediocre for the longest time, like the Mets. I'm really interested to see how that's going to go against the Dodgers this upcoming season. I love rivalries like that. Oh, Fantasy Greens, F the Mets. All right, we'll get this L, my guy. You were out of here. Look how easy that was. Go weep somewhere else, my friend. I don't got time for you. Okay, latest and... Okay, let's see. Joey, you can still use him first. Okay, I was off on that. I apologize, guys. Would you like a Chris Bryant acquisition? I would at the right price, and I do think that the Mets are going to go after a third baseman. I do. What are my feelings on... Oh, I said that already, okay? Oh, Don, again, appreciate you being here, my friend. Thank you. Mets can trade with Oakland as Sandy just came over from them. Well, I know the Mets do have an upper hand with certain negotiations to an extent, you'd have to imagine, during his time, obviously, in management with the Oakland A's. So that's not a bad problem to have. That's a good thing to have, I will say. Beatty, Mauricio Alvarez, Dom Smith, Brandon Nimmo, Dries Familia for Mike Trout. Would I do that trade in a heartbeat? But of course, the Angels wouldn't. They wouldn't even pick up the phone. I don't think Ramirez to the Braves is going to happen. I hope not, David. I really hope not. What would the Mets need to give up for Bryant? Good question. I would assume that it would be similar to the Lindor deal where you don't have to give up a top prospect, because if you're not coughing up one for Lindor, why should this be any different when same situation, a guy on an expiring contract a year from now, he's a rental. So it doesn't make any sense to me why the Mets would even consider the idea of coughing up more, like beyond a number 9 prospect, because the highest prospect they gave up in the Lindor deal was a number 9. So I think the Mets, for Bryant, they very well could just trade away possibly, obviously, J.D. Davis to fill the third base position, Brandon Nimmo possibly an out of top 10 prospect. And Nimmo with the assumption that you're going to address center field, obviously. You're not going to create a hole to address another hole. How good do you think our rotation will be with Bauer? I think it'll be arguably the best in baseball. What is the backup plan for Bauer? I am hearing the Jays are still in on him. I mean, the Jays could be in on him, but I think they're pretty much, that's just noise at this point with them getting Springer. I highly doubt he goes to them. And again, take my word with a grain of salt. I thought Springer really, there was a not a strong chance of him going to the Jays for a while, and then look what happened. So again, my word only means so much. Is the NL East the best division in baseball right now? By the time this offseason's done, it may very well be just that. It's been getting better each and every year. Okay. More comments. Will the Rockies do Familia, Cano, and Mats for Arenado? No, not even close. No, they wouldn't even pick up the phone, Mark. If we upgrade at third base, will the deal be long-term? Probably. I mean, I'm not going to guarantee it because, again, it all depends on what type of third baseman they go after. But if it's if it's an Arenado or Bryant route, then yeah, it's going to be long-term. Mets should bring back Oliver Perez. I wouldn't be against Perez. The guy literally, he's still chugging. He's in his 40s now. It's crazy. Impress me on Arenado. I know he's a great fielder, but I feel he's only a good hitter in Coors Field. I mean, that's just simply not true, Luis. Trust me, there's so much more that goes into Arenado. It's the most BS narrative I've heard at this point that, he can't hit outside of Coors. Look at DJ LeMahieu after Coors. How's he doing with the Yanks? Pretty good, right? Even if Arenado's bat dips a little bit, if he would be acquired by the Mets, it wouldn't matter because of how stellar his glove is. When you have the chance to acquire the best third baseman in baseball, the MLB has seen since a guy like Mike Schmidt, if you can do it, you do it. So there isn't even an argument. Arenado's on the top of my list over any other third base option, as long as he can get him for the right price. Yeah, I know. It's been stated that the Blue Jays are likely out on Bauer. I'm pretty sure that through their statement through George Springer's presser today, I believe through their GM, that they were basically all the big moves were done for the offseason. Do you think Billy Owens is a front office option for the future? Possibly. To be real with you, I do not have a great background on Billy Owens, so I will have to do my homework. That's probably a question I can answer you another time, my friend. Not as heavy in baseball as football. On average, how often does a player in the current farm system break out into bigs on that said team's farm system? I mean, pretty often, Jason. It just takes a little while to get there because you have to go through a lot of different farm systems for a team to really break out within that organization, because you have to go through, obviously, rookie ball, A ball, Double A, Triple A. It's a lot. They go through a lot. They have more levels than any other sport, it seems, before you actually make it to the show. So it's not uncommon to see guys that, even though they're top picks, don't really break out until they're mid to late 20s at times, because of just how long it can take to get there. Tacoma just tweeted Mets are zeroing on Aaron Loup. Aaron Loup. Interesting. Okay, so with Brad Hand gone to the Nationals, a source says the Mets are zeroing in on Aaron Loup for lefty bullpen help. Okay, all right, that might be the route the Mets go down then. Okay, we'll see what happens then. If a deal gets done, he'll fill a void in the Mets' righty-heavy pen. Okay, 33 years of age, had a 2.52 ERA with the Rays last season. Not against that. Not against that. All right, guys, it looks like I might have to do another video for the Mets today. I guess we'll see what happens. You know what, guys? I'll even crop this and put it in here for you guys that want to see it, all right? Just bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm going to pull up the tweet so you guys can all see. Give me 1 second. But as always, guys, make sure to smash that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. And if you're a diehard Mets fan like me, help us get to 200 likes, guys. It would really mean a lot. Just bear with me 1 sec, guys. I know I'm probably going to freeze on you or whatever. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, I know. This thing's bugging out. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I'm just pulling up the tweet now for all you guys. There we go. Beautiful. All right, guys, it is up now. You guys should be able to see it here on the screen. Yeah, JBJ wants a guaranteed spot, and the Mets are not assuring him. I'm not surprised, because JBJ, I don't think, was ever the Mets' first option. That's why. Were other teams interested in Bauer on the luxury tax? I don't have that on my hand, Colby, but I can let you know in a little bit. Daniel, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. But yeah, guys, look here. You can tell that the Mets are looking like that they're zeroing in on possibly the answer for the lefty reliever, which may very well mean that the Josh Hader situation isn't as much a possibility, which is fine. But again, we'll see what happens here. So make sure to still check out the video if you haven't, guys. But make sure to smash that like and subscribe on too, as always. It's going to be cheap too, so that's a good sign for the Mets. Yeah, I know. Again, I'm not against this at all if the Mets go down this route. And if you guys want me to tell you his numbers, I'll gladly do that in a second. So bear with me 1 sec, guys. I'm going to pull up his numbers for you. Okay. Aaron Loup, here we go. 2.52 ERA in the shortened 2020 season with the Rays. Before that, he was with the Padres in 2019, in which he only had 4 games due to injury. In 2018, he split time both, it looks like, with the Toronto and the Phillies. And during that time, and it looks like just over 60 appearances, he had, let's see the ERA here. He had a 2.54 combined ERA, so not great. During his time in 2017, however, he had a 3.75 ERA in 70 appearances. And in 2016, he had a 5.02 ERA. So You know, numbers don't look great, unfortunately. He had a really strong start to his career. His first 2 years in Toronto, he put up a 264 ERA, and then 2013 put up a 247, but then it went to 315 in 2014, a 446 in 2015, in 2016 a 502, in 2017 a 375, 2018 a 454, and in 2020 a 252. A really strong short season, but Loup's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. At those numbers, I would honestly prefer Justin Wilson, but again, I don't know if Wilson is even considering the option at this point for the Mets, or if they're considering him. So Loup is a better option than trade for Hader. He is, but he's not nearly as good as Hader either. So the issue is that you're still banking on a decent amount from him when you look at his resume, kind of similar to Bauer in that sense, where he had a very strong 2020, but years before that aren't nearly as consistent. Mets reported JBJ a contract today. I've only saw that from one source that isn't fully reliable, so I don't know how much I'm banking on that right now. To get a better sense of what payroll will look like this season and beyond. Connor, I'm not sure what you were saying before that, my friend. What's up, Larry? Happy to have you here. Yeah, I mean, Hader has a good workload too, but I agree he's been utilized a lot by the Brewers last couple of years, but you also have to take into account, look at Edwin Diaz, for example. Diaz even has more innings pitched on than Hader, and you wouldn't think that, right? The Mets sadly don't get Bauer. Would the Reds do Familia, Matz, and Brad Brock, and Jacob Barnes for... Oh, absolutely not, Mark. Again, they won't even consider the trade. No way. And Larry, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate that. Okay, JBJ declined the offer. That makes sense. That makes sense because it wasn't guaranteed. That isn't all that surprising to me. Yeah, because I was only going to report on something in regards to JBJ if it was strictly if he declined it already, though. It's like, all right, we're going to wait out then. Header's arguably the best. Yeah, I know he is. Aren't Matson and Lucchesi potential lefty bullpen relievers? Possibly. Again, I don't know exactly how much they're banking on that thought. However, Lucchesi might be the more likely between him and Matz, because Matz might be the more likely to be traded. Yeah, of course Loup would present a drop-off. There's no doubting that. We need to accept Conforto and Lindor. I think we will, Matthew. Don't worry. But I'm pretty sure Lindor will happen first. But Mets fans, as always, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. If you're new to the chat, if you're a dire Mets fan like us, enjoying the stream, help us get to 200 likes. It really mean a lot, guys. But yeah, guys, how are you feeling about this latest report here from Anthony DeComo? Do you like this idea of going for this lefty here? I mean, granted, Loup is going to be a cheap option. He's not going to be that expensive. Should extending Lindor be the next order of business? I think the Mets will extend Lindor once they have the offseason solidified, and then they know that they can still extend him after the moves they make. I don't know the timetable on Lindor, but I do believe it'll happen before the season starts. The Mets get Bauer and swing a trade with the Cubs involving Hendricks. That rotation would be tops in the league. It would, but I highly doubt the Mets would go for Hendricks too after getting Bauer. You're full on set at that point, because the Mets have a strong rotation right now as it is. Adding Bauer is just great, but I don't think that they would go after Hendricks. Yeah, I did see that Rutherford retire. That was interesting. Would the Giants do Matz and Familia for Cueto? I don't see why they would. No, the Giants are still trying to compete. Do you think Steve Cohen should just write a check to Bobby Bonilla and pay him the rest of the money that's left over for him? I mean, he could, but I think we're also going to just have more fun now with Bobby Bonilla Day going forward. I think some of you guys don't know how much money Cohen has, and yeah, I know. You think Loup would be great? I think Loup would be solid. I don't love it, but I think when you're talking about if he's more of your budget option you're going for because you're going bigger name in other areas, then okay, I perfectly understand that. It gives us more clarity if that's the case then. Yeah, Matthew, I know the offseason has been nothing short of crazy. It's been awesome, no less though. I'd rather have Wilson too, but again, if they get Loup, that could be telling that maybe Wilson was never an option. If the Mets would upgrade a third baseman, that would mean JD Davis would be gone. More than like probably Jaden, yeah. Which is unfortunate because I do love JD. Yeah, I didn't deep dive who Brody signed with, nor do I really care. He's water under the bridge. I don't need to hear Brody Van Wagenen's name anytime soon. I think there are better left-handed pitcher options, but if they agree on a minor league deal with a spring training invite, that's okay. Yeah, it could be possible. Granted, though, I don't think Loup would be a minor league deal, though. I think Justin Wilson is a better option than Loup. Lucchesi might be an even bigger option. I know. I'm curious to see how they're going to utilize Lucchesi. Thoughts on Bauer's YouTube and title about the Mets? I like it. I like it, Colby. I mean, if you're talking about just the stuff he's talked about in the past, yeah, I do like it. JD has shown improvement at third and a great bat. I agree, Jack. Again, though, the Mets at this point in time clearly aren't fully sold on JD at third. So time will tell if they upgrade or if they don't. We should get Messi and Ronaldo for. I would prefer just Ronaldo. You can keep Messi. I'm a Juventus fan, so I think Loup will be okay. But I still feel we most likely get Bauer and getting Chris Bryant in coming weeks. I mean, I would not be against that whatsoever, Travis. Only time will tell, right? What do you think of the results of the Hall of Fame of 2021? I thought it was an absolute joke, Jose. I honestly don't want to get too much of a rant by talking about it, but I think it's an absolute joke. I think some of these writers don't deserve to have their jobs currently, to be quite frank. It's an absolute joke to see them do what they just did. How do you go a Hall of Fame without putting anyone in? It is baffling beyond belief. It is disgusting for the game of baseball. I think it's a horrendous thing that has happened. I think they should all feel ashamed of themselves for doing such an act. Personally. Just my tidbit there. Neil, thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that, buddy. Do you think the Mets should go after a speedy guy like Tom LaCastro from Arizona? Not a bad option. I'm all for speed in the lab, that's for sure. I have a feeling that they still might address that, not in necessarily LaCastro. Do you think the Mets should go oh, I answered that, right? Okay. Big mistake not getting hand. I mean, look, if the Mets do not get... there was never a guarantee if the Mets get hand or not. But if the Mets don't get hand, they have their reasons, obviously. He might be too much of an asking price for them that they want to go down. Maybe they want to utilize some of the assets they would use in that type of hypothetical trade somewhere else. Only time will tell. Look, if we're not going to have cheaters in the Hall of Fame, then there's no point in having a Hall of Fame because there are already cheaters in the Hall as we speak. It's a joke. It's a joke. Literally, it's just a subjective, stupid narrative. I'm not for it at all. Love this channel. It gives me so much news. Thank you so much, Dave. I'm happy to have you here as always, buddy. Diego, what is up, buddy? Yes, how's it going? Sign Bradley, Almora Jr., and Jake Odorizzi, and Watson extend Conforto Lindor. Mike, I almost have a feeling that none of those things are going to happen. Maybe one of them. I don't know. I don't think the Mets are going to get Odorizzi as of now. I really don't. Who's your favorite Mets catcher of all time, not named Piazza? That's easy. The kid. Like, that was such an easy answer. Okay. Plus, Bonds was a walking machine and stole hella bases, Eric. No, Bonds did so much before he started roiding up. People always forget that. Seriously. Oh, and Colby, sweet. Thank you so much for the follow. I'll follow you back on Twitter, buddy. So JD is training and is watching videos on David Wright. Maybe he could just call him. Maybe. For all we know, they've been in touch with each other. That's definitely a great mentor. I'm not denying that. Which active players have the best chance to make the Hall of Fame? Active players, definitely Mike Trout, even with the little playoff success he's had. I think DeGrom is definitely worthy right now. He's getting close. DeGrom is one of those exceptions. He's just been amazing, close to at least. There's a lot of really good players that are deserving and probably be in the Hall that are currently playing. It's going to take me a while because I would want to make a list for that. Okay, someone asked me what were Lucchese's stats last year, and yeah, Miggy, I agree. Well, in the short 2020 season, he only had 3 games played, a roughly 8 ERA, so take that with a grain of salt. But in 2019, he had a 4.18 ERA. In 2018, his rookie year, he had a 4.08 ERA. So he has a career 4.21 ERA as of now. Mets were talking about signing 35-year-old pitcher Tony Watson. I don't know if I'm a fan of that, to be honest. Where did you see that, Mark? I know that the Mets shown interest over the past couple of weeks in Jeremy Jeffries. I just didn't do a video on it because there were a lot of other things going on, and it didn't seem like there was too much going there besides just initial report that's interested. So if he signs, then do I think something big will happen today? I would obviously love for it to happen, Ben. Something tells me that the Mets will make a move today. Just from the report, as you can see right here by Anthony Tacoma, maybe they're going to sign this reliever here today in Loup. Only time will tell, though. Thoughts on Lester at DC? Adds depth for them, Josh. And Josh, I don't know if you did, but if you GM me by chance, I will respond to you. I just haven't gotten a chance to yet, my friend. I've been busy, as you can tell. I'm not sure if you did though, but I thought you did. And I think that Lester just adds depth to them. It's nothing that I'm worried about. Okay, you searched up Mets signings rumors and Tony Watson came up. All right, I'll check that out then. Okay, well that was from Metsmerized, by the way, regarding Tony Watson. In their article, it is an opinion article. There's from me going through this here, there's nothing stating that the Mets actually shown interest in Tony Watson. They're just saying how Tony Watson would be a good fit for them. The Mets have no reported interest in Tony Watson as of now. Frank, yes, buddy. How's it going? How's it going? And guys, please smash that like and subscribe button. As always, if you're new to the channel, you're a dire Mets fan like me. I hope you guys are enjoying the stream. It's been a lot of fun. Help us get 200 likes. Yeah, Omar, exactly. He was mentioned, but it was a hypothetical situation. You would love Wainwright. Didn't Wainwright sign with the Royals already, though? Did I already discuss what? Is there a regular season with 162 games? I hope so, but as of right now, it looks like they might get pushed back a month because of what's happening with the Cactus League. Yeah, no problem, Josh. Yeah, don't worry. I will get back to you in due time. I apologize for the delay. What do you think was the barest player for the Mets in 2020? Not Jacob deGrom. By barest, do you just mean like one of the best ones in 2020 for the Mets? I would say Dom Smith was definitely up there. Look up Loup Savant metrics from 2017. I will. But remember, that's from 2017. So take that into account. LFGM, indeed, Gustavo. So happy to have you here, my guy. Dino, what is up, buddy? Happy to have you here. Yes, I do remember you, Aiden. You don't gotta ask if I remember you. Let's be honest, the concept of the Hall of Fame is a joke. Explain how a guy with over 4K hits in his career doesn't belong, and don't give me the nonsense that he bet on baseball. That's all BS. I know. Trust me. These are fair arguments to be had. We could have an hours and hours upon discussion on the pros and cons of the Hall of Fame. I completely hear you, Isaac. That's why I'm not going to beat a dead horse here, because it's not worth my time. Oh, thank you so much, Josh. I really appreciate that, buddy. I look forward to talking to you soon. I'm confused on which avenue the Mets are going. I'm a little confused as well, but I think Zack Scott only brings some clarity. And is it funny how shortly after the Mets bring in Zack Scott now as a new GM today, like officially. Then you see Anthony Tacoma right here from this tweet report that the Mets are zeroing in on a player. Isn't that ironic? I think there's a coincidence there. Can the Mets go after Byron Buxton? I'm sure they can. Will they be able to land him, though? That I don't know. I would love for them, but it's not easy. More Fights 84, thank you so much. I appreciate that. LGM indeed, buddy. Can we work a trade for Verlander? Hell no. Nah. Verlander's washed. I don't want Verlander, especially with his injuries and still, you know, nah. We can do better than Verlander. And with the cheating scale that came out with him too, I'm okay. The entire Mets offense minus all but one of the Brody bombs. The Mets should just go after Arenado and call it a day. I wouldn't mind them going after Arenado, but even then, you still have to try to address some more things. No, Eric, we're perfectly entitled to have our opinions here, my friend. Trust me, I perfectly understand the for and against the Pete Rose situation. Trust me, I'm not gonna, you know, we're not being rude here. It's friendly discussion. This is why we do these live streams, to share our thoughts. I literally have no issue with how you feel. Who would cost more, Buxton or Marte? Good question. A part of me feels like Buxton might, just because of how crucial he is to a Twins team that is trying to compete and is in a better position currently than what the Diamondbacks are. Who would you have to give up for Jose Ramirez? Probably more than Lindor, because he has multiple years of control left. Definitely, obviously, JD Davis, because third base, he's always going to be topic of discussion there. You know, another out of top 10 prospect for sure. You know, they might look for pitching depth, but the Mets shouldn't part way with pitching depth at that point. If you can give away Steven Matz and just throw him there, okay, do it. You know, outside of that, Nimmo might have to be a part of it, which would be rough to see. I don't know. He's been more uncertain. He's been more of an uncertain option for the Mets. Do the Mets have a better chance to get Bauer with a new GM? I would assume so. I would definitely assume so. Assume just that, Aiden, for sure. There's no negative in this situation, only positive in regards to their negotiations. Oh, thank you so much, Tim, for the kind words. I really appreciate that, my fan. Always appreciate, especially a lifelong Mets and Knicks fan like yourself. I know it's not been easy, but things are starting to look bright. Thank you so much for the kind words. I appreciate that. JBJ can hit, Mike. That's a fallacy if I've ever seen one. People that think JBJ can't hit need to look at his numbers. JBJ can hit, even if he's just an average hitter for the Mets. That's all you need, because his glove is stellar. The bigger issue with JBJ isn't as much his hitting as it is him being a lefty for the Mets, I would have to imagine. Do you think the Mets could possibly trade for Odubel Herrera? Hell to the no. Odubel is the last guy. The last thing I want is another abuser on this team. We already dealt with Jose Reyes when he came back, right? Anyone who thinks Steve goes bankrupt because of GameStop has PTSD, yeah, no, Steve's going to be fine. He knows what he's doing. What are the odds the Mets front office had a sit down with DeGrom to talk about money going to Bauer? Possibly. Honestly, I have no clue. I don't think so much about the money as I do maybe just a sit down with the team on their thoughts on going for certain players. That could be a possibility. But the money, I kind of doubt that. I dare say this, but Ollie Perez is available. I know. Is it fair to say I'm excited, but also disappointed this offseason? Moth, I would say you're fair to have your own opinion, but I think that's somewhat of poor judgment on your part, just because the Mets have had a stellar offseason. All right, let's not overlook the things that they have done, and it's not even done yet. All right, just be patient. I've been preaching this since I started the channel. Patience is a virtue, my friends. This has been the craziest offseason the Mets have literally ever had, being connected to all these damn names out there, and now it's just a ticking time bomb when we're going to find out what happens. Thoughts on Simmons to the Twins? Definitely helps him up the middle there in the infield. Can't go wrong there. What's deal with Jorge Polanco then? I don't know. I don't know, actually, Josh. I'm glad. I really don't know as of right now. No problem, no problem, Luke. Have a great night, buddy. And I don't know if I'll be streaming later. The only way I can see myself streaming again later is if something breaking happens with the Mets. So that's a possibility. But have a great day, buddy. Hope to talk to you again soon. Oh, Frank, thank you so much for the hype. As always, I really appreciate that, my man. And thank you all again so much for being here. Please smash that like and subscribe button. As always, if you're new to the channel, you're a diehard Mets fan like me, help us get to 2,000 subscribers. I mean, not 2,000 subscribers, 200 likes. It would really mean a lot, guys. And we're trying to reach our next short-term goal of 4,000 subs here on the channel. What Bauer goes to the White Sox? I highly doubt that. That would be surprising. I mean, I would root for him in Southside, though. White Sox are the team that I chose a couple years ago to follow in the AL, and I really like what they're doing. But again, I don't think he's going to the White Sox. Oh, Mothman, I know. It's perfectly fine to have PTSD as a lifelong Mets fan that has been through all this hope and just hope, no guarantee of things. So I get it. Just try to be patient. That's all I can say. And just, relax and just let the good things happen because they will come. Do you think Chris Bryant is coming to the Mets? I think it's a possibility. I don't know if the Mets are still very much in on Bryant at third base, but I do think the Mets still want to address third base through a trade option. The Jays look more and more likely that they are out on Chris Bryant. So, if you're asking me, if the Mets are still in the third baseman option market for trades, at least, Bryant, I'm sure, is still on their radar. Aaron Loup's most innings against a team came against the Red Sox. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Aiden, yes. Hype it up, buddy. I appreciate the support. Would I like if the Mets trade for Hader and Kane at the right price? Oh, absolutely. Mark, you got to check out my previous video. It's got everything you're looking for. Trust me. Hey, Wardy, what analytics do you think ERA is a weighted less than other analytical numbers? To an extent, Alb, I think with analytics, it's always important to balance the two between not just analytics, but, the eye test with everything. In regards to ERA, though, I think ERA is very important. However, obviously, multiple factors can go into a pitcher's ERA not faring well, especially if they just had, say, one bad short outing. Analytics does take some weight off of it to an extent, I will agree. But ERA is still important. There's no doubt in that. I know Bauer put City Field in the background of his new video. I know, Aaron. I stated that in last night's live stream. Yep, you're absolutely right. Do you think we could have a spot at the playoffs? I do. Any chance Drury makes the team on the bench, if anything? But, Drury's going to have some competition. The Mets could spend $250 on the payroll, and that would only put them at $260 with the tax. You're right. Breaking Bartolo Colon, the Mets on a 10-year, $400 million contract. Sign me up, Gabriel. When do you think Bauer makes a decision? Before or at February 1st, hopefully. But again, that's just what I'm thinking right now. I think the Jays are still in on Bryant because of Hendricks. Possibly, but I think that likelihood got a lot more slimmer after them getting Semien. I have a feeling that they could very well still go down to acquire pitchers, but that being like James Paxton and Taijuan Walker. Not being biased, who do you think wins and gets the wild card in the NL East? Well, in regards to winning the division right now, how things currently stand, I still think the Braves just outbest the Mets. And in regards to the wild card, I would say the wild card for the NL East could very well be the Mets as of right now. No, Mark, there is not. Oh, and thank you so much for the like and subscribe. I really appreciate that, my friend. And again, thank you all so much for being here, guys. This has been a really fun stream. I'm going to go for a couple more minutes, not too long, just because I have to prep a video for my other channel today, and also get ready in case if something breaking happens with the Mets today. That will probably be a second stream, so I got to get everything prepped. What would a trade look like for Suarez? I touched on that in a previous video, so make sure to check that out if you haven't. But it all depends on if it's just Suarez, then again, I know I keep being a dead horse here, but third base replacement obviously would be someone like JD Davis. I'm sure they would want Ronnie Mauricio because they need shortstop depth for sure. I'm not sure if the Mets would be willing to part in a Suarez trade, however. So again, it's kind of up in the air on that front if it's just Eugenio Suarez. What are Bauer's numbers versus the Dodgers, Braves, and Padres? I don't have them off the top of my hand. Our pitching staff is probably the best right now. No, it's not. I don't think it's best. It's one of them. It's definitely up there. But no, I don't think it's the best right now. I think Bauer would make it arguably the best then. Would you like if the Mets sign James Paxton? No, not at all, Mark, actually. I've never been on the James Paxton bandwagon this offseason. I am out. But I liked and subscribed to keep watching in the future. Well, thank you so much, Daniel. I really appreciate that. Have a great day, my friend. Thank you kindly. Any possible Rangers live streams in the future? If so, you know I'm there. Yeah, I know. I might be doing a live stream for the Rangers for the game tomorrow night, so stay tuned for that. I plan to work on a Rangers video that I'm hoping to have out later today. So, video-wise, at least, that should be good. What is the chances Nimmo's center field opening day? As of right now, they're still decently strong. Until they make a move, that's how things are looking, right? Throw in Castillo and Suarez, and then we talk. I would love that, Tim, but Suarez is going to come. I mean, Castillo is going to come with a hefty cost. And that could be the reason as to why the Mets were reportedly showing interest in Gray and not Castillo as of late. Obviously, Bauer's big name. Thoughts on Sonny Gray? I'm not against Sonny Gray whatsoever. I wouldn't mind Sonny Gray in a Suarez-type trade package that the Mets have shown interest in already over the past couple weeks. Could Sonny Gray be a sleeper for the Mets? Possibly. I don't think he's as much of a sleeper, though, because there have already been reports to indicate that the Mets have shown interest in possibly going for him. But that would only be the case if they didn't land Bauer. I'm not sure that they would go for both Familia and Matz' contract. Matz for Grichuk one-on-one, though, I could see being a possibility. I like to see Buxton Bauer. I love Buxton too, trust me. I believe Trevor Bauer will sign with the Mets on the first day of February because every zip code in Queens starts with the number 1. Interesting, Elijah. Interesting. I like you connecting the dots here. That's pretty cool. Is the plan to live stream during Mets games? Oh, thank you so much as always, Joe. Thank you so much again for the jersey. I can't thank you enough. Yes, I do plan on live streaming during plenty of Mets games throughout the season, rest assured. But, have a great day, my man. Thank you so much again for the gift. It does mean the world. Well, if we move JD Davis to left, you still have an issue defensively there in left. That's the issue. But as always, guys, thank you all so much. Please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button. As always, I'm going to let this run for literally just another minute or so. Get your final thoughts in, guys. And then I will try to start attending to some comments from the previous video. Make sure to check out today's video earlier regarding the Brewers if you haven't already, guys. And also make sure to let me know your final thoughts in here before I let you all go. So, again, possibly a live stream later tonight. Definitely, of course, I would do a live stream if something breaking happens with the Mets. So, you guys can know that I will be here to cover stuff normally if it happens. But let me know your final thoughts as always in the comments. And thank you all so much for being here. Make sure to smash those buttons. Thank you all again so much, guys. before I go, can you answer this? How much trade value Ronnie Mauricio have, and what could he get in return? Mauricio does have a good value. He's not a guy that you would trade by himself, I would imagine. He's a guy that you would have as part of a bigger deal. Do I like Joey Lucchesi over David Pearson? No, I like Pearson more than Lucchesi, but Lucchesi does have upside. You should be an MLB reporter. Hopefully one day. Mets don't need Suarez or Arenado, to be honest. They don't need them, but it would definitely get them over the hump. Will I stream if the Mets get Loup? Probably. Will there be a DH in 2021? As of right now, it doesn't look like it, and it really upsets me, Mark. It really does. Well, thank you so much, Garden State Gardener. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Do you remember Davis' magic catch backward against the Indians? Yes, I do. It was nuts. I was jaw dropped when that happened. I do remember it. JR Perez, I love the optimism, but don't jinx anything, my man. What about Mets trade for Kevin Kiermaier? I think that's a possibility if they don't go for JBJ through free agency. Yeah, Frank, hopefully just that. But again, thank you all so much for being here, Mets fans. It does mean a lot. Do a stream of Fuzzy. That would be insane. Yeah, no, hopefully. I have a feeling that him and I will get something that works sooner than later. Oh, and thank you all so much again for being here, guys. It does mean a lot. Make sure to smash those buttons. Any thoughts on Seager from Seattle? I think he's a possibility, but I definitely don't think he's a first option for the Mets. The only way I could see him really coming is if the Mets felt that a short-term option at third base was the best option right now. But guys, before you leave, just stay right here. I got to end the stream the only way I know how. So thank you all so much again, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Hopefully I'm talking to you again soon at some point today. But let's finish this thing off.
Meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down to meet the METS Mets of New York town. Oh, the butcher and the baker and the people on the streets, where do they go? To meet the Mets. Oh, they're hollering and cheering and they're jumping in their seats. Where do they go? To meet the Mets. All the fans are true to the orange and blue, so hurry up and come on down, 'cause we got ourselves a ball club, the Mets of New York town. Give 'em a yell, give 'em a hand, and let 'em know you're rooting in the stand. Come on and meet the Mets, meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife. Guaranteed to have the time of your life, because the Mets are really socking the ball, knocking those home runs over the wall. East side, west side, everybody's coming down